Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Depends on where you are. I'm in Sydney, and Ed is from Japan. And welcome to the Connection Show. Thank you for coming on the show to share, Ed. We really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy today. So, the purpose of the show is to inspire more actions, to share more love and connection, especially during this time. We all could do with more connections and we all could do with more happiness. And so that's why I was inspired to invite my guests to come on the show to share, a bit of what you think, what inspired you to read the book, and where you're up to. Maybe just share with us what you're doing right now. I know you're doing a lot of wonderful things, a lot of things happening in your end of the world. So yeah, maybe let's start from there. What are you up to these days?
Linda, hello everyone who are watching this interview. So I'm obviously based in Japan, but I'm obviously not a Japanese person. I'm originally from Europe, from Croatia, and I'm living in Japan for the last 7 years. And one of the reasons why I came here is the main reason is my Japanese wife. So I'm in a media agency, so I'm working in helping clients creating the digital marketing strategy and campaign for their businesses. And also I have my own business, which is helping female entrepreneurs to position and build the clarity and establish brand in front of their target audience. And today and these days, the things getting back to a new normal in Japan, in Tokyo. So the business community start to be active again. So there are many things to follow up. That's why I'm busy currently, which is not so bad thing. I think it's good to be busy again, to connect with the people, because we have some pause like 2 or 3 months, or it was only online meetings. So I'm happy to see some of my previous clients face to face again.
That's excellent. So is it today that everything's reopening up in Japan?
It's closed. Everything is closed from outside to inside, but inside Japan start to be open. So that means I cannot leave the country, and nobody, or 108 countries cannot enter in Japan. But within the islands, you can do mostly everything, just keeping some social distance, those kind of things. But in terms of the business is getting back. Like even tourism is now getting back, domestic tourism.
Wow, that sounds exciting, because a lot of places are still semi-lockdown, so that's great news. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Japan did very well with the crisis, but the thing is, people are here very disciplined, and they follow the rules, and that's I think the main thing. And plus, healthy lifestyle, I would say healthy lifestyle would definitely make a good impact. And hygiene habits, like if you go in Japan, like you will never see like any dirty things on the street, like which compare with the Europe and the US and all other parts of the world. It's just outstanding how Japan is clean. Not necessarily.
How lucky are you to be living there? How lucky are you to have found your wife there? Happy for you.
It's interesting that you say that. I also said she's also lucky to find me. Like
of course, it's always both ways, right? In a relationship, it's never one way. Like I share in the book, one way don't work. It doesn't work if it's just one way. And of course, it's got to be, 2 ways to have the beautiful connection and happiness. When it's only one side, it's never happy. It's got to be both sides. So sounds like a perfect match. Sounds like a perfect soulmates finding each other. So congratulations to you both. And I would love to send my regards to her. It sounds so beautiful. Yeah. So I'm just curious, what inspired you to pick up the book? It sounds so wonderful over there.
Yeah, when we met first time in our community, when you mentioned that you have a book, and then the topic of the book is connect, and also like happiness between people and how to find the happiness. I was first, it's so difficult to clarify what happiness is. It's so personal, but you were very brave to try to write something special about it. It's a very brave move, because some people, they feel upset even when you mention happiness at the first point. Oh, don't talk about happiness, don't talk about happiness, because they don't feel happy, basically, right? And connect is also very important keyword for me. I strongly believe in connection with ourselves. I strongly believe in connection with, you know, um, consciousness. Connection with the consciousness is so important, because when we remind ourselves that we are basically impression of that consciousness, and then we have an experience here in this world, it's so important to discover over and over and over again what connection with consciousness means. And you did a very good job in a book, explain on the different aspects of our life, how we can connect again, because it's so easy to forget, right?
Yes.
It's so easy nowadays to forget. It's like, it's just 1 second, and then you go to the, and then you're not connected.
Yes.
And then you feel so lonely, so desperate, so unpowerful, and then when you remind yourself again, connect, you know, and then
I love the way you describe it. I love how you describe it. It is so true that these days we get so busy, you know, so get caught up from task to task, from meeting to meeting, and, you know, achieving one goal after another. And then suddenly, boom, you know, we feel like so disconnected and so lonely along, isn't it? I mean, it's so, especially in business, in small business, you know, we you know, going on just a long path, a long journey, even though we have lots of colleagues outside, but it still feels so alone at times. And that loneliness is really when we just remind ourselves that we need to connect within. And once we connect within, then we can feel like we can reach out to people easier and reconnect with others again and with the universe. I just love the way you describe it. Now I get a sense of your world a little bit, like, you know, how busy you are, you know, and then how you are able to remind yourself to reconnect with yourself. And that's just so wonderful. And that is one of my main objectives in the book, is hoping to remind everybody, help everybody to come back to ourselves, so that we feel more groundedness, you know, feel more centered, find the harmony to keep go on before we get so overwhelmed and burn out, you know. And then that's when we start to recluse to ourselves, and that's when we start to come to isolation. And I saw the smile. I'll let you share. I saw some thoughts coming up.
Yeah, so I think, Linda, it's okay to be busy, you know, and the thing is, whatever you do, if you are meditate, or if you are busy, or if you do some physical exercise, or you know, if you have a meeting or whatsoever, you still can be connect. But that's the point. That's something we have to practice, and nobody is teaching us from the beginning. Like, even you know, you have to learn on your mistakes. Most of the time, we all learn on our mistakes. When we start to feel sick or lonely or desperate or sad, then we feel something is not good or something is wrong. And then maybe with the self, like working on yourself. But the key word here is, I think, what you explain is take responsibility of your life. Oh, that's a huge thing, right?
I think it's a huge one for all of us. For all of us, regardless of our age, our path, our gender, you know, our whichever level you are. I think that is really, really huge. I just want to say thank you that you share with so much joy. I feel your joy in sharing, and thank you for that. And I think that's the whole purpose of this show, is to share more love, share more connection, share more joy, because we all need it now. You know, we all need it so much, including myself. We all get hit by this pandemic. You know, no one's exempted. You know, whether you're the celebrity, whether you're the royalty, it doesn't matter who you are, right? We all get affected. And it's so wonderful, you know, to have you on here and share your laughter, share your thoughts, share your journey. It's just so beautiful. So is there a particular story or chapter that you resonated with more?
Yeah, I mean, I like the way how you structure the book, like, and talking about the happiness in a family, happiness with your physical health. happiness with relationship. But like for me, every chapter is life chapter. So I cannot divide one chapter and then don't care about other chapters. So it's again, I want to congratulate to you, because it's so difficult to write about happiness and connection nowadays, because people are skeptical. People are, don't know how to measure happiness. And I'm talking about economy of happiness, because we measure with money and with the material things, everything, which is great, but that's only one part. It's just like, and then one part is missing, okay? and we all feel it, something is missing here. Hey, so I like the story when you mentioned, like, even if it doesn't really matter in business how much money you make, it's more matter what you want to do with your money and why you want that money at the first place. That's a very good. So I can associate with many chapters of your book, but what I feel is, again and again and again, so life is the sort of a different experience, and to connect with yourself, that's maybe my learning point from the book. You are not like your experience. It's just temporary experience. And then you have a power, as you explained, to change your experience. Bam! Again. And that's taking responsibility for your next experience. So if you don't like this experience, guess what? Change experience. But that's easy to say. But actually, I say it's easy to do. But many people find so many reasons why to not do and change experience. Because government, coronavirus. It's easy to find the reason. But when you think more specific, that's my learning point that I really want to share. When you think about your life in 2020, this virus only takes 3 months, 4 months, okay? And is everything which is good in your life because of these 3 months, or everything which is not good in your life maybe is because of? That's not true. There are much more action you did before, and this time is actually good to prepare for the after this crisis, because every crisis will take. This crisis will take 1 year, 2 years, but then how you're going to prepare yourself for the time after the crisis is now what I think people who read your book can learn to connect with your better version of yourself, and then go for it, take it. That's how I feel connection is actually for me, and happiness is coming from responsibility, that you can organize your life even during the crisis even better, because you have more time to rethink, is this strategy really sustainable for me? Because if you depends about only one, let's say, revenue stream, is that sustainable for the future? Now I learn actually I need 2 or 3 different revenue stream, because next crisis will come in 10 years time, maybe, who knows? And then do I want to have the same experience as now? Maybe. So it's a never-ending process of learning. I think that's my key point from your book. So many stories, personal stories, your mom, but this is something which encouraged me to over and over and over again practice. You share beautiful tips how we can change our mindset, how we can reconnect on all aspects of our life. I strongly recommend people to really read your book, and not just as a book, as a one-time reading. You have to repeat over and over and over again. So I think that's the value of your book. It's kind of with you, like 2020, but it can be actual 2025 and 2030 again.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It is a book that my readers have shared with me to read again and again. And so when I wrote it for my children. So it is supposed to be a book to guard them for life, so-called. It is a book for them to turn to when I'm no longer here, and it is a book for my grandchildren when grandma is not here. So and I'm glad that all the readers found that it's beneficial to reread it, because each time they read it, they see a different message. Each time they read it, they resonate with a different story. And I want to congratulate you, because it sounds like you are on this evolving journey. I mean, you're taking total ownership of self-responsibility to keep expanding and evolving yourself. And it sounds enormous amount of discipline, like a lot of discipline there, that you continuously be looking at yourself, you know, reflecting and keep evolving and keep growing. And it's such a growth mindset that is so beneficial to all of us, because the minute we think that, no, I know everything, we stop learning. And when we stop learning, we shut ourselves from the outside world, right? And these days, the world keeps evolving so fast. You know, things happen so fast. So I want to congratulate you, you know, for such amazing, you know, continuous growth spirit. And you mentioned, you know, definitely very big words, you know, consciousness and things like that. So it really shows that you're on a great evolving journey spiritually. And so in my book, even though I try to lead the readers to do that, but I try not to use those words, only because some people are familiar, some people are not. But you sound like you're on this amazing spiritual journey yourself. That's amazing. You wanted to say something,
Linda? You know, some people, they say, okay, let's talk about something which is material, which we can see in a 3D, you know, with our five senses. But then I always ask, but what is something you feel and you cannot like describe? What, and can you just ignore it, that it doesn't exist? You know, it's I think we have to talk about it. Like, even if you cannot explain, which is completely fine with me, but it still exists because I feel. And then I cannot, like, I'm not taking drugs, I'm not taking alcohol, I just feel it. And then you cannot just ignore it. It's not here, it's here.
Yes,
and
you
then,
know that it's there.
And then let's connect with that. I think that's, and when you start to be self-responsible for your life, it's so much more fun. Because then you have a power again. Because if you don't have that power, if you don't have that power, if you give that power to others, then guess what? You're just like a boat on the oceans, and today there is no wind, tomorrow there is a wind going in that direction, and then you go back. Actually, you're circulating on the same place all the time. But if you have self-responsibility, you maybe can consider how you can, you know, learn how to sail or whatsoever. So you can use the things which you have. It's not every situation in your life, like wherever you are. I'm based in Japan, but I don't think it's going to be different if I'm based in any country, because connection. When you're connected, country, it's important, but it's not important. Like, that's a paradox. Like, yes, it depends about you. I know so many people who are not happy, and then they change the country, and they're still not happy. And they change the partner, and they are still not happy. And then they change the job, and they are still not happy. Why?
I guess, you know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful that you have evolved and you've gone through this journey, and you can see to the bottom of the courses and how you manage to lead yourself to be happy no matter where you are, what country, where you are from. And it's just wonderful. So I want to congratulate you for that. And I think the reason why I wanted to share the book is because I know, and including myself before I wrote a book, is that we all have a journey that we have to go through before we get there. And so at the beginning of the journey, it is very difficult to see that, you know, even if I'm the ocean seas, the ocean's pretty big, pretty massive already, right? But even if I'm the ocean, I still need to take charge in order to be empowered, to be in control, rather than waiting for the wind, like the analogy that you just used. So it is so amazing that you've gone through this journey and that you're able to come back to share the insights, you know, the powerful messages. But it is really difficult, I guess, for someone who's at the beginning journey, that they have to kind of navigate their way through before they get to where we are talking about. So I appreciate all of that. Thank you so much. So I am also then curious, because we want to inspire people to take actions on this show. I'm also curious whether you've taken any actions from reading the book.
The action is that during this coronavirus situation, I was at the beginning upset. So many things I have to change, my plans, everything, like a business model. But by reading your book and by connecting more with my inner world, the action is that I still control so many things because I just changed the focus. And I think that's the something which I definitely a book helped me with, to change the focus on watching something which I don't have any bloody control, like it's just information.
Yeah.
And then you change the focus on your inner you, and then you find so many things you have control. And that's action which maybe sounds difficult to take, but it's not. It's just like you are in the car. Can you imagine you are in the car and then you have some sign, and then it says in 2 kilometers you have to decide to go left or go right. And then you just have to decide, do you want to go left, and then you don't have nothing under your control, it's just coming to you, or you go to the right side, and then you start to feel like, oh, I can grow here, I can learn these skills, I can do this. And that's the action. I think the action is to make a decision.
That is so powerful, isn't it? Because the minute, like you said earlier, the minute you decide to take action and take ownership and take responsibility, you become the driver in your seat. You know, you suddenly now have the empowerment to take charge, to navigate your way, you know, to take charge, to determine your course and your path. That is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show to share all your wonderful insights and all your wisdoms and the laughter as well. Thank you so much. We send our blessings to Japan and to your family and your wife. It's so wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in, listening or watching in. We hope you get the joy. We hope you feel encouraged to go and get the book and take actions and to transform your own career like some readers have, or to transform your own life to make yourself happier. That's all we want for you, really. You can get the book at less than $1 now on Amazon before it goes back to the normal price. So thank you so much once again, Ed. Thank you. And I'll see you all next time.